What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sport. I'm your host, Edwin, and we're gonna get into the Naoya Inoue and TJ Doheny fight. Sit tight. Let me get everything situated here, and we're gonna talk about this fight. All right. Let's see here. Showbiz, the entertainer. Wow, what's up, Round One? How you doing, brother? Thank you for tuning in. Let me know that you could hear me loud and clear, and that I don't have any static in this one. Let's see here. For some reason, it's not letting me load in. Oh, okay, I got it. Good. All right. Okay, let's see. All right. That's what's up. 100, bro. What's up, Armando? How you doing, brother? In the building. You know how we do here around One Sports Talk. We get right into these fights and the hottest topics. And what we saw last night, let's talk about it. Naoya Inoue and TJ Doheny squared up in Japan. All four belts were on the line. Doheny came in there looking great. He looked good. He looked like he had a game plan. So we're gonna get right into that. Let's touch up on everything, exactly what happened and what took place. Why TJ Doheny, some people feel like he quit. And we're gonna clear up a lot of those misconceptions here at Round One Sports Talk. So as you're joining in, please hit that like button. That way you can get that out of the way. If you haven't already and you're new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to the channel, and please like and subscribe to the channel. So what's up, guys? How you doing? What's up? All right, Bam Bam, how you doing? So what happened last night, right? What we saw last night take place versus Naoya Inoue and TJ Doheny, right? We had a real, the first round was your typical feeling out process. But I did notice that Naoya Inoue was being a little bit more patient than usual. He was really starting to like try to find his distance and what exactly TJ Doheny was doing. TJ Doheny came in there with a game plan. They had a great strategy for Naoya Inoue. He kept switching it up. He kept nullifying Naoya Inoue's jab. He didn't let him just work off of his jab. TJ Doheny, his approach to Naoya Inoue, he made sure that he was in a lean back, just up straight posture where that he was slightly out of the way or he could just slightly evade. And in order to get that punch off, Naoya Inoue would have to extend himself in order to get that punch. So TJ Doheny was banking on the fact that Naoya would get frustrated and do exactly that. And he had an answer to that. But Naoya Inoue didn't fall for those traps. He kept working with what TJ gave him. And as you can see, as the round started going by, round 3, 4, you could see the marks and the damage starting to show on TJ Doheny's face. The announcer tried to quickly write it off as, oh, it doesn't seem like he takes punches good in his old age. Like that ever had anything to do with it? No. Sam Goodman didn't have his face looking like that in 3 rounds. No, he didn't. No one did. As in fact, TJ Doheny has never been knocked out. He's never been TKO'd in his career. Naoya Inoue was the first man to do so. And do you think they're going to want to start to give him any credit for that? Absolutely not. Another sleight of hands. Don't look over here. Don't pay attention to what's going on back here. That's, they don't mention that. Naoya Inoue was the first man to stop him. Now, throughout the rounds were going on, it was a really, really highly skilled chess match in there. And it goes to show you what kind of offer does Naoya Inoue offer to his fighters, his opponents, life-changing offers, where that TJ Doheny probably left no stone unturned in the gym. He had a great game plan for Naoya Inoue. As I was watching the fight, I was commending him for what he was doing. It was very smart. He was trying to force Naoya Inoue's hand for that he can go in. Naoya Inoue showed great patience in the fight. He picked him apart. Then he started really, really the 6th round, the 5th, right around the 5th round is when he started to really really find his range. And Naoya Inoue started to go to work. And quickly you can see coming into round 6, TJ Doheny, all the marks on his face. And that was from what I thought not to be a lot of strong work. And it goes to show you how hard he hits, right? So many people didn't see this, right? And I'm pretty sure all of us by now are aware of it, right? But let me just touch on it for the people that might have not seen it, okay? It's true, okay? He did hit him in the back at the closing seconds of round 6. TJ Doheny did that to himself. He turned into Naoya Inoue's punch. Naoya Inoue was trying to go to the body, but TJ Doheny had suffered big shots downstairs to the body that his only option was to turn his back. Naoya Inoue hit him directly in the spine, man, right there in the lower extremities, right down here. And that must have hurt. He gave him an ill Charlie horse. Yeah, he hit him so hard, man. He made his leg go numb. And TJ Doheny, we all knew the way he limped like that to go to his corner in round 6, he was done. Yo, it goes to show his toughness. He tried to tough it out. He really did. There was no quit in the man. A lesser man would have quit from that back punch. He would have just took the back punch and fell on the ground and threw the fight. Then they would have went to instant replay and they would have saw he hit him in the back. There would have been controversy towards the win, right? TJ Doheny wasn't looking for a way out. And these are the things that these fighting channels don't recognize. But yet, they claim to know their shit. You come here at Round 1 Sports Talk, and I'll bring you even in depth to the fight. Come on, people, hit them like buttons. I was watching the fight play out, and I was saying to myself, TJ Doheny made a good account of himself. He had nothing to hang his head down, for what he had in skills, age, everything he brought to the table. It was top notch TJ Doheny for who he is. It was top tier. I can't judge him on any other fighter because he's not any other fighter. He's himself. I must judge him based off his skills and who he is. And as far as who he is, man, that was the best I've ever seen him. Yo, he was sharp. Wasn't falling for Naoya Inoue's traps. Nothing. He was switching it up. Um he was staying to his game plan. It's just that Naoya Inoue caught up to him and he brutalized him. It was just a matter of time after that 6th round. Had he not taken that back shot, you could see the damage in his face. And I felt like Naoya Inoue took his best punch. So it wasn't really, I don't think he was going to get better past the 6th round. I don't think TJ Doheny would all of a sudden was going to just get better. Naoya Inoue was shutting his strategy down little by little, round by round. And he was picking them apart. And, once again, Naoya Inoue, another 4 belt title defense. He goes down in history as one of the men that defended all 4 belts at the super bantamweight division, 122 pounds. Historically, when we're going to go back and we're going to look back at a man like this, his record, and we're going to look at all his fights and his accomplishments, there are men out there that today foolishly have debated me that other men were doing it better, such as Saul Canelo Alvarez. And I had to push back on that. And it was like, you have to acknowledge what this guy is doing. It doesn't matter if he's doing it at 122. That does not matter. You are only judged for what you did in the sport of boxing. Whatever weight division you rolled up in, that's your weight division, isn't it? How can I hold you accountable for what the heavyweights are doing? That would be shitting on your body of work and not recognizing your weight division, calling your weight division soft. When in fact, in Naoya Inoue, all his weight divisions, there have been nothing but killers, short of killers. So much, in fact, that no man has seemed to get past 2 belts. They can't. They keep knocking each other off. That's all skill down there. They ain't nothing but a hot bunch of skill fast killers. Look at, if not, you're gonna tell me that Bam Bam Rodriguez is not a killer. You're gonna tell me that Junto Nakatoni is not a killer, because that's who's down there. So they're even in lower weight divisions than Naoya Inoue. So if Naoya Inoue is not who he is, then how the hell can any of those guys be? That would be bias. That would be unfair. When a person competes in a sport, you got to give them credit for what they did in that sport. That's it. If what he's doing is easy, by all means, I challenge and I dare any other fighter to do what he's doing. Just half. How about half? How about just get 4 belts one time? Just one time. Shit, it's hard enough to get 1 belt in the sport of boxing. It's hard enough to maintain 1 belt in the sport of boxing. Now you got a target on you. You got mandatories. You got obligations. It's hard enough to hold 1 belt. And most fighters will be thankful just to win 1. But just because it can roll off the tip of their tongues, they can ignore his body of work with a simple phrase or sentence to dismiss what he's doing. No. Make no mistake. At the level he's doing it, he is on the same level. Isn't he competing with everybody else on the weigh-in at the same weight? Can we honestly say that Naoya Inoue is a weight bully to anybody in his fights when they're all bigger than him? They don't want you to acknowledge that every fighter he's basically fought was bigger than him. No, they don't want you to see that. When some guy comes in and Devin Haney comes in 20 pounds heavier, they call him a weight bully. But the things that they make up about Naoya Inoue, exactly what I just said, they make up. Nothing, and I mean nothing that they have said up to present day, including the fact that they called him a hype job, none of that shit is real. Is it? This performance right here is what you're seeing right here is where you get to a stat, a place in your sport where now you're just fighting the true best of everyone. The cat is out the bag, film is out on you, the world is trying to beat you. Men like him, men like Terrence Crawford, men like Tank Davis, they got targets on their back. Some people don't want to answer the call. Others are looking forward to it. Hence, Bam Bam Rodriguez. Hence, Junto Nakatani. Right? Those guys right there, I think that those are future fights for young Naoya Inoue. He's 31 years old. He has all 4 belts. There is only one king in his division. Naoya Inoue didn't say much. And did you guys, was it me? Was I the only one that noticed this? But nobody hopped in the ring wanting that smoke. But yet, no one's ducking Naoya Inoue. And that Naoya Inoue is picking cherry picks. Right? This was no cherry pick. This was a man answering the call at his job because when no one else would pick up the phone. As you can see, if I was lying, where were all the men that should have been at the fight, ringside, hopping in the ring, saying, yo, I want you next? Where was MJ? Where was Casamera? Where was Stephen Kubo? And I'm just naming the guys that are supposed to be at the top. Where's Sam Goodman at again? Couldn't he hop in the ring again? No. Now the fighters seem that they're trying to get as far away from him. They finally realized, wait a minute. He's the real deal. He came on so fast and so strong in the rise in his career that a lot of people didn't take him seriously. A lot of people took those fights not really knowing much about him. And then a lot of these fighters have to thank their ass whoopings to new media. Some of these YouTube channels that called him a hype job and that were pushing out the fact that he wasn't no good. What you think, these fighters don't watch these YouTube channels? Yeah, they did. And they was like, look, even they're calling him a hype job. They helped give false hope to those fighters with very little research on Naoya Inoue. And thanks to their favorite YouTube channel, lured them right into things like that. Friends, coaches, people telling them, let me see his picture again. Oh, hell yeah, you got this. I just need to look at his picture. And then when he entered the World Series of Boxing is when the world should have really took notice, just like I did. That's when I feel like you should have took notice on a man the way he was doing it. There were a lot of great fighters in that World Series of Boxing. And I'm going to remind you, it was the first Muhammad Ali coveted trophy, the first one. Naoya Inoue has the original first trophy. So they can win more or whatever, bring it back. You can't take that away from him. He has the first one. I think that's important, right? And the way he did it, it's not like no one handed him anything. The way he wiped down Payano, that was amazing. I thought, okay, the way Payano awkwardly shifted in a way, I kind of like wanted to brush it off like it was Payano's fault. It wasn't that Naoya Inoue made a read and caught him in the moment. No, I didn't want to believe that. I knew that Payano was a tough Dominican fighter. I was like, yo, no, right? He laid him out. So when he came up against Emmanuel Rodriguez, which was a Puerto Rican fighter, I'm Puerto Rican. Emmanuel Rodriguez was 19-0, undefeated. He's never been put down in his career. Emmanuel Rodriguez did not know what it was like to lose. In his world, he was the best, he was the champion, and he was an undefeated champion. He had plans and visions for his career. He entered the World Series of Boxing thinking, I'm going to win this, get this trophy, and it's going to catapult my career. I'm undefeated. I just won the first round. Now I got to come into the second round against the Japanese dude, 5'5". What's his name? Naoya, the monster. You guys call him a monster? Really? I'm going to show you guys a monster. That's where Emmanuel Rodriguez thought process, he didn't think he was going to lose. The way that Naoya Inoue took him apart and the way he took the fight, he beat the fight right out of him. He had Emmanuel Rodriguez looking out into his corner, shaking his head like this, like, don't stop the fight. He was hurt. Emmanuel Rodriguez was tough. His pride, he was fighting all kinds of things in his head. He knew he was outgunned. Naoya Inoue slipped those punches from, like, it's not that he knocked them out in the 10th round when they were tired. No, he did it in top speed, top reaction time. Emmanuel Rodriguez was at the freshest. That was pure. He countered him at his best. At his best. He walked him down, destroyed him. I was so impressed. And then when I watched Don Nito Donaire, there was really no way I could know that his orbital bone was broken. I knew he sustained the cut in the second round, but there's no way I could know that. You know what I'm saying? So I was just judging him on that. Then when I saw, like, in the rounds, I think it was like the 5th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. He started to cover one eye with his glove, right? You could go back and watch it, right? He started to go like this and fight like that. When I saw that, I knew he was hurt. I knew that his vision was impaired. I knew that he was trying to stop the shadowy figures from keep moving. I know he was in trouble then. When Naoya Inoue was working off of his jab, off of covering his own eye, that's how he was throwing his jab. He was going like this. He had his hand like this, and he was like this, and he was working back, and he would bring it back here so that he would stop, get back in focus, so that he knew where he was. So he would use the jab, pop, and put it back like that. Go check that fight out with Nonito Donaire, the first one in the World Series of Boxing. And, trying to figure a puzzle like that young in your career as a fighter speaks a lot to the fact that this is what you want to do with your life. This is where you want to be. Most men would have got that kind of injury. They would have conceded right there. They would have said, I'm done. I'm good. Naoya Inoue proved to himself that this is the path that he chose. He wants no way out. You're going to have to detach him from his senses. You're going to have to beat him. In order for him to give up, I already saw it. If he only got one arm and one leg, he's going to hobble towards you. That's not going to stop him. My man, what's up? Let's throw this up right here. Come on, Bun. Don't be... Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing the support. Thank you for dropping the donation in the super chat. Pacific Attack says, dominating so you can see Naoya in Vegas with Bob donating for you can see Bob. Okay. Yo, listen. You laugh and you joke about that, but you know what? You're right. Okay, because that's exactly what's gonna happen. Okay, that is exactly what's gonna happen. I got it all planned out, right? We were gonna get right to that, right? Pacific Attack, right? We were gonna get the at the end of the fight what Bob Arum said, because no one else jumped in the ring. No one else agreed to fight him. And out of all everybody in the weight division that's claiming, oh, I want that fight, nobody was in attendance, right? So Bob Arum, he needed to give the people, the fans, something. He had to give us something. And what he gave us was he had made the announcement. Look, he's going to fight one more fight. And then guess what? Naoya Inoue is coming to America like Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? So and then who do you think he's going to fight in Las Vegas? I quickly thought of those two men, Junto Nagatoni and Bam Bam Rodriguez. Now, they say that Bam Bam Rodriguez, it would be a big jump, but I disagree. Not at that weight. If Naoya Inoue can do the exact same jump on his first try and fight, not a contender, not a number one guy, but the champion, and Jamie McDonald, that was undefeated, had the belt for 4 years, have never been knocked out in his career. He knocked him out in 1 round. That's the same exact weight jump you would want Bam Rodriguez to make to fight Naoya Inoue. Anything less than Bam Rodriguez jumping up and knocking out Naoya Inoue in the first round, then that means Naoya Inoue did it better. So at that weight, if you ask me, Naoya Inoue looked weight drained. I was concerned about that. When I saw him at the weigh-in, his cheeks look a little too. He had a lot more cut, which means there's a lot more water pulled out of your body to get those hunger cuts really popping. And both TJ Doheny and him really had the hunger cuts. They were just everywhere. You know what I mean? I think TJ Doheny might have out hunger cut him though. He had like the extra lats, and they were like kang, 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 like a cobra, right? I was like, oh man, these dudes went out, because of the seriousness of the fight. You could tell, look how serious they were locked in. But it looks like Naoya Inoue now is cutting more weight to make the 122. And he knows that. He understands that. That's where he has to be. And in this transition, some of the reporters were asking him and saying that he looked slow, he looked sluggish, and he was a little annoyed about those kind of questions because they don't understand boxing. They've never actually been in a ring. Yeah, it's one thing to watch a fight, break down a fight. Yes, I don't doubt anybody's eye. I know special men that never box. They know exactly what the hell they're talking about, right? So it's not always that way. Okay, but it is good to at least have been in the ring and know what it's like to, exchange. So when the people say this to him, they don't want to understand that he's in that middle phase. He's in that middle phase where he's gaining extra weight and taking this kind of fight because he knew his performers were going to be there. He has to be exactly where he is to make the transition well at 126 and perform like himself. So he's in that like middle part. And I understand this. I understand that that's where he's at because he's actually heavier than the last time he came in the ring. So it was his weight was already reported. I think it was 138 when he entered the ring last night. against TJ Doheny. We entered at 138. So all this talk, 126, 130. So I was like, okay. So I see where he's at. And trust me when I tell you, he's going to perform better when he gets to the weight where that he doesn't have to cut so much weight to make weight and he's feeling like himself. That's where you're going to see the better part of Naoya Inoue come out. And there are a lot of big, there are a lot of names that come to mind quickly. Who would you like to see him fight next in December? And who do you think is going to be that opponent in Las Vegas? Who do you think? Let me go up and read some of y'all messages. Yeah, he did. Looked like he put a little bit more muscle. Yo, Bam, what you talking about? Shh, yo, 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 yo. Nah. See, what happened was, guys, Lionheart in the building. How you doing, Lionheart? Listen, look, uh man, listen. Competition is competition. Is he not competing? Is he not ranked the number 2? Oh well then. If you're not in there competing, then you shouldn't be up there, right? And look, he took that shot in the back, TJ Doheny. I went back and I watched the fight, right? And Naoya Inoue got him right in the spine, bro. He punched him hard, bro. That was a hard shot. And immediately he got a reaction out of TJ Doheny. He went like that. And he started wobbling to the corner. The last sequence of punches that he took, technically, he was already done. He was already done by that punch in the 6th round. He was done. Just his pride wouldn't let him quit. He needed a little bit of help from Naoya Inoue. So I don't even think it was the last sequence of punches as more as the shot itself. Now, I mean, who knows what happened? He could have hit him so hard that he felt like it like pinched his nerve or something. He could have been in excruciating pain. I don't know what it's like to get hit by a massive right hand or left hand from Naoya Inoue. I don't know. I don't know what that's like, but it doesn't look like it tickles. It doesn't. From the reaction from these men, the way they're getting hit, man, listen. Naoya Inoue was what I felt was hitting him with straight shots and the jab. And by the 4th round, I looked at TJ Doheny's face and I was like, wow, where the hell did all that come from? I didn't see him like laying into him. He was just like pat, pat, pat. And I was like, damn, yo, he hits hard, really hard. And with this extra weight and muscle, man, he must have punched the shit out. Yo, he's lucky TJ Doheny's not paralyzed. Yo, real talk, man. One of my subscribers said TJ Doheny's gonna get killed tonight. Like, yo, a lot of people didn't give him a shot. I gave him a puncher's chance. He's a professional. He's definitely a professional. He definitely had a great game plan. Him and his team did do their homework, and it showed. It showed. He kept Naoya Inoue at bay for as long as he could. It was just those shots were starting to catch up. Naoya Inoue was starting to find his range. He was really starting to find, his timing on those shots. And as you can see, he started to light up TJ Doheny at him in the corner. And that's what caused him to turn his back when he got hit. What would cause you to turn your back? You're getting the crap beat out of you. You're like, you know what I'm saying? And then, bow, he hit him right there. But that is TJ Doheny's fault. It is. You're not supposed to turn your back on me. They can call the fight for that. If the referee would have saw that, the referee didn't see him punch him in the back, in fact, right? But if the referee sees a fighter that shows that you're conceding in the fight, the referee will jump in and save you. He'll call the fight. You can't even turn your back to the ref. And if you get knocked down and you start walking to like that way, and the ref is like, turn around, and you don't turn around or you don't respond, the ref will call the fight. That's how he did to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua spit out the mouthpiece and he didn't respond. He kept walking to the corner and the ref kept calling him. And then Anthony Joshua turned around, put his hand, and it was it. You got to stay in with the ref. So turning your back like that is TJ Dohany's fault. Yeah, I would call it the way it is, the rule, and I would tell you, look, bam. But it was just a matter of time. Whether or not he took that shot, like I said, I don't think TJ Doheny was going to get any stronger. I don't think he was going to get any better. And I'm not sure that Naoya Inoue was going to fall for any of his traps. Naoya Inoue was on his A game that night. TJ Doheny set a lot of traps. And in a couple sequence, he did land the punches he needed to bait Naoya Inoue in. I saw it. He hit Naoya Inoue with a straight pow, right? And Naoya Inoue's head went back. TJ Doheny set back up and threw the same shot, but feinted the other one. If Naoya Inoue would have reacted to that, TJ Doheny was going to come over the top and bang him. Yeah. Naoya Inoue, he's smart, man. There's these little things that he does. I even cringed for a second. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, oh shit, because I saw it coming. And when you're sitting out watching a fight, you see much more than the fighters sometimes. The fighters have a different perspective. Like, you ever see your boy fight and you're like, you could have did this, this, and this, but he's in the fight or you're in the fight and you're not seeing that. You're all amped up. You could be locked in like this. You could be alert or aware of your surroundings. You could be cautious. You could be afraid. You could be hesitant. You could be too aggressive. But the people from the outside see it like us. So when I saw it in real time, I was like, oh shit. And he didn't. Now he was, man, listen. You ain't getting me with that. I was like, nice. In my head, I was like, nice. Because from watching him go down with Nonito Donaire the first time, it really gave me anxiety watching him fight against TJ Doheny. It made me feel like at any time, and it reminded me, as soon as Luis Pantera Nari put him down, a man like that, it reminded me that truly anything can happen in the sport of boxing. Anything, at any time, you're in a fight. That reminds you, it should wake you up to the fact that these guys are in a fight. And in today's era where we're starting to judge these fighters from individual moments, like Luis Pantera Nari took that knockdown and ran with it. People are good with it. You'd be surprised how many people are good and they stop the fight in their head right there in that moment, laughing, rewinding it, real immature stuff, rather than the outcome of the fight. Okay, so what happened in the fight? Those are the kind of people that, like, they capping, they trolls. They just want to be ignorant and push. Oh no, but look what happened. So what? He also did that to him several times in the fight, and more brutally to him. If you want to talk about something, let's talk about that last knockout. They don't want to do that. You see? And they are no longer trying to play the game like that. They're just pushing their favorite fighter. You see? So when it comes to real skill and real boxing talking, Naoya Inoue is doing it. He's doing it the best. The standard, the bar that he's setting for the men and women in order to do what he's doing, walk in his footsteps. If you're going to try to, if you're a kid looking on right now in the sport of boxing and you're 12, 14, 13 years old and you're watching Naoya Inoue, you're starting your amateur career, you're starting to win, and you're watching him, and you're saying to yourself, I want to be him one day. In order to be him, in order to be like Michael, in order to be like Mike, you got to do Michael Jordan shit. Kobe Bryant understood that. Kobe Bryant embraced it. He adopted everything. He took everything. Didn't he? The blueprint. If anybody tried to copy and paste it, the closest in history was Kobe, wasn't it? When that little kid is sitting at home and watching Naoya Inoue, that's the standard that he's setting. That kid is soon going to find out what it takes to get there while he's there. Hopefully, they make the decision to chase him. And we see it the next Naoya Inoue. You know you've made it big when fighters refer you to the next, and in your sport. Whenever a basketball player is referred to the next Michael Jordan, they're referring you to the best. That's where they're getting their reference from. When that's how you know how good he is. When they say the next Naoya Inoue, all the Japanese fighters, they're saying they have the potential of being the next Naoya Inoue. They're not saying Naoya Inoue has the potential of being them. No. LeBron James is wearing Michael's number 23. It's not the other way around. You see? But these are the things they don't, sometimes they're like, no. Real fighting fans, even casuals, we know what we see when you watch him. And we know what we're watching. We're watching one of the best fighters to ever do it. And now every fighter from here on in is going to be a tough fight for him. One, there's a lot of film on him. Two, everybody knows what he's about. Three, they got a lot of time to build and work to try to beat him rather than the other way around. These guys have been already from probably been since Stephen Kubo Fulton. They've been trying to develop a fighter to beat him on the low. Everybody knows already, just like Terrence Crawford. You just got to be within range. And that's what I'm saying. Bam Rodriguez, Junto Nakatoni, and the rest of those Japanese dudes are, all of them are studying, except his brother, right? Are studying Naoya Inoue. And if you think they're not, that's where everybody wants to end up. That's what kind of fighter, that's what kind of man he made himself. He's not chasing everybody else down. They all got to come see him. That's what kind of fighter he made himself. That's incredible. You got to understand that there's not a lot of men in the world that have ever reached that kind of status. In the history of boxing, there's a handful of men that did that. This is not something, a fighter does every day. Were there 10 Manny Pacquiaos? No. Or was there just one Manny Pacquiao? There was just one. Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd arguably, even myself, was better, and I think in my eye he should have been more famous, but he actually wasn't. When it came in regards to like the mobs and the crowds, I mean, Floyd can get a big crowd. He could. Floyd could. Like, when Floyd was at the height, Nah, Floyd got some huge crowds, man. If Floyd stepped outside of Vegas at that time, oh no, there would be some massive crowds. Yeah, I got to think about that one. But my point was, Naoya Inoue, when he walks out there in Japan, they do be doing them like that Manny Pacquiao stuff. Although I haven't seen his crowds of late, I seen some of his crowds back, you know, earlier in a couple of his fights, not so many years ago, maybe 3, 4 years ago, somewhere around there, I think. No, probably less, like 2.5 years. I saw some crowds in Japan when 2.5 years ago when he fought in Japan. Yeah, and I saw the crowds in Stephen Kubo Fulton when he was outside. They had some reels on it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, okay. So since then, right around there, I haven't seen no like updated when he walks outside the way they be mobbing him and stuff. But Manny Pacquiao was slightly bigger from what I saw. Manny Pacquiao, like, listen, Manny Pacquiao had these crowds that were just like ridiculous. Like they were like people crying, throwing at his feet, but like offering him food. Like he was some type of god or prophet or something. It was incredible the way they revered him, and that's a status that I could never imagine as a man reaching in life. That many people were calling out my name. That many people loved me. That many people expected that much from me. Sometimes it could be overwhelming, I guess, but I got to be honest, I've never experienced anything quite like that in my life. And to any man to reach that kind of status, who am I to judge him? You could freely try to judge Naoya Inoue for everything he did, whether he was in the lower weight division, whether you felt like he fought the right guys. The one thing you'll never take away from him is that he actually did it. And when it's all said and done, the Hall of Fame will give him his credit. Some people might not like where they place him, but I don't really think they're going to have much to fight against it. At the rate that he's doing it, he's crushing these guys' record. Unifying 4 belts within 6 months. Are you kidding me? So it's going to be tough to deny him. And I look, like I said, like Naoya Inoue said, you don't have to accept me, but you're gonna have to acknowledge me when it's all said and done. What's up, Matt? How you doing in the building? How you doing? ah, you know, while I was thinking about the fight, right? Do I got Shushu giving him a problem? The problem is that I don't really think Shushu really wants that problem. Um, at, at the beginning, I felt like Shushu was, hinting towards the fact that he did want that smoke, and then when I think it became surreal for Shushu when he actually saw him at his fight sitting in the audience. That's different. Men can talk crap about each other, this, that, and the third. But when somebody pulls up, who bowed in the ring out of respect? Shushu, I mean, that was a respectable move. I don't take nothing from that. So he acknowledged them. That was just straight respect. There was nothing scared about that at all, right? But he did acknowledge him, and he was like, bam, and they made eye contact. Then Boo Boo saw that once he was done, he didn't care about what he was talking on the mic. The Japanese dude said, I'm not moved by words. I saw what I needed to see. We're done here. Stood up and walked out. That was cold. He didn't even get here. He didn't even to be bothered by what you were going to say. He had a translator standing right next to him. There's no need to explain. I don't care what he's saying. Stood up, walked out. Boo Boo Shuster Carrington acknowledged that he saw Naoya Inoue walked out. While he was on the mic, he acknowledged it. He said apparently he didn't want to hear what I had to say or anything. He knew inside he had to say something because that probably sent a shiver down his spine. Seeing him in attendance is another thing. Since that moment, he might have tried to mumble it once or twice on lower channels or whatever. It's not like Bruce Carrington is a young 21-year-old, 22-year-old. No, he's up there in age now. And I believe that's where he is in his career. And do I see him any better than Stephen Kubo Fulton at this point? Boo Boo Shushu Carrington. Listen, he looks good against those guys. We're going to increase the fire, put in better competition. We'll talk later. He still hasn't even crossed the bridge as far as competition goes. You could say that about Stephen Kubo Fulton. He already crossed the bridge. He was battle tested at 122. He had them with Brandon Figueroa and them, Roman and the rest of the guys. So, but who has Boo Boo Carrington fought? You see? And I think Stephen Kubo Fulton would have been better. And he's smaller. So now Boo Boo Shushu Carrington 126, they, as far as they trying to feed you that he's going to be the bigger, stronger guy, I'm not sure about that neither. I think by time Naoya Inoue gets up there, when you put them side by side, you're going to see with your own two eyes. Naoya Inoue ain't as small as you think he is. He's not. And Carrington is not going to have that size factor on him like that. And I think Naoya Inoue, when it comes to the skill and the purity of boxing, the problem that Boo Boo Carrington has is that he's actually good. And that favors against him. The fact that he's good. The fact that he actually boxes. That's worse. Naoya Inoue thrives off boxers. He's built a career out of knocking out highly skilled boxers in dead space. Jason Maloney, all those guys, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Donaire, all of them in dead space. The better you are at fighting, the worse it is for you. The only thing that seems to give Naoya Inoue problems is awkward fighters, awkward movement. That what seems to at least make him think, because he doesn't want to do anything stupid or take chances like that, because you're not supposed to. You see? So that's what seems to be given. But the better you are, it's worse. It's worse. And Boo Boo Shushu Carrington is going to go out there and try to do that same slick style Stephen Kubo Fulton stuff. He's going to get wiped down. Yeah. I try to wait to see throughout his career when his competition got better, he got better. And I noticed that he kind of stayed at a certain level and his coaches saw that he had to work more. He didn't go as fast as I thought he was, for as sharp as he was when he first came out. When I saw Bruce Carrington when he first came out, I was like, oh, he's going to move up fast. Look at how old he is now and look where he is now. He hasn't won any world title. So I was like, okay. And then you got killers coming up right behind him. You got Cormel Moten. He's a phenomenal talent in itself, and he's coming right up behind them. So these are the guys that I think that would be future opponents for Naoya Inoue that could probably, present a fight. When they speak of Naoya Inoue coming to America, and getting in a weight division where the fighters would in fact turn into American fighters would actually be at 126. There's plenty of American fighters at 126 that can put up a fight against Naoya Inoue. Whether they would win or not, that I'm not saying. I think Naoya Inoue still, in my book, is the best to do it in today. And he's definitely the best for Japan. 100%. As far as that side of the world, he is number one. As far as the 122-pound weight division, he is number one. And as far as anybody else's opinion, I guess nothing else matters. You could say anybody else is the best in another weight division. Okay, he's the best in that weight division. Great. Usyk's the best in heavyweight. Great. But as long as he's the best at 122, that's all he cares about. Is his real weight division. So talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. If you were in his weight division and you were talking, then I would like to see that. But the fact that these guys are in like 10 weight divisions above talking about, I'm the heavyweight champion of the world, I'll fight now, yeah, either way. Like, come on, man. What's next? What's next? Ryan Garcia talking about, I'll fight now, yeah, in a way. What a cloud chasing move. Next, Tio's going to say he's going to fight him. Watch, give it a little time. Tio's going to be like, I'll fight now, yeah, in a way. Like, yo, like if it would be a real thing. And these guys just want to attach their names to a real one. And just in case, I get this a lot. They say, Naoya Inoue must be your favorite fighter, right? And I go, he's close to it. He's close, right? But I truly try to like keep myself back. Yeah, I'm impressed by the dude. I like a lot of things about him, but this is not the Naoya Inoue boxing show. I cover all boxing. And if Naoya Inoue was to ever do anything, or I felt like there was a fight that he didn't take, you better believe I would call him out on it in a heartbeat. Okay? But when you're doing the right thing and there's nothing to call out on you but your hard work, and I'm judging you by your performance, well, then that's what I'm going to judge you on. Why is it that you should be able to do everything else, get arrested, crash cars, smack your girlfriend, get caught on film, come in, have a lackluster performance, and I got to accept you? I can't talk about anything you just did. It's shame on me for bringing up that you got arrested. Shame on me for talking about the performance you put on, that these people paid their hard-earned money to go watch you. Now, I'm the bad guy, right? I guess I am. I'm responsible for all the bad stuff that's happening to you. But you're in a sport that you have a responsibility, one, as an athlete, two, as a role model, to behave and hold yourself to a higher standard, whether you want to or not. Because there are children out there looking up to you, whether you know it or not. So just because you're doing that, and if I happen to call a person out on a situation, automatically that means what? I'm a hater? Or that I like this fighter more? No. A lot of these YouTube channels, they do nothing but talk about Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, and all these other guys. Who talks about Naoya Inoue? Let's be honest. I seem like I'm on a limb, on a ledge by myself, because I don't want you to miss out on one of the best men, whether race, skin color has nothing to do with it. If you like combat sports and you like boxing, I'm trying to introduce you or bring you so that you can open your eyes. You can see for yourself. Watch them. Tell me what you think. And look, it's well said from men that have never done half the stuff he's ever done in their career. These are quotes and statements that are said from people that have never achieved not even a third of what he's achieved. Always remember where you're getting your information and who's saying these things. Sometimes it can be a very big, powerful person in that sport. You got to think about why would they want to tarnish his legacy, his body of work? If they can't beat him in the ring, find another way to tear him down. And that's what they're trying to do. Listen, let me tell you something. There are men in this life that have dedicated their lives to their craft. Just because this is a sport doesn't make him any less than a man that dedicated his life to astrophysicists. There's no difference. When you dedicate your life to something, you dedicate your life to it. That is your accomplishments, your failures, everything wrapped into one, your success, all of it. At that point in my life, you can talk about a lot of things, but don't come after my legacy. Don't try to tear down what it took me a lifetime to build. They have footage of Naoya Inoue. As a kid, the gloves are bigger than him with his dad Shingo behind him. He's been doing this basically since birth. This is his life. This is his body of work. How dare they? How dare they come in with no evidence or no proof whatsoever and just say that he's a phony? Why do you think they're doing that? Why? Because he's the truth. He's the real deal. And they can't stop him. They're starting to see, wait a minute. You ever play cards? You ever play spades? And you realize that the guy's running the table and the suit that you had, it's gone. And at that moment, you realize, damn, he's going to run it. He's going to run the table. I can't stop him. You look up at your partner. Yo, you got anything? And he's looking down at his cards and he don't even want to look you in the eyes. You already know. You guys are done. They laughing, smacking cards off the table. What? With authority. With authority. And you catching feelings now because they slamming cards on the table. You know it in your gut. You're done. He's going to they're going to clean the table. You can't stop it. They're starting to realize that with Naoya Inoue. He's about to run the table. There's nobody that's going to stop him. So what they got to do is convince him that he needs to move up to another weight division. That's what they got to convince him to do. Because in his own weight division, you're not going to beat him. It's just been proven. You're not going to beat him in his own weight division. You know? So what you would have to do is Naoya Inoue would have to give the boxing world a chance. He would have to sacrifice his weight, his size, his ability to move in order to give you an opportunity to beat him. But without that, he's already proven you can't beat him. In the last two weight, you can't beat him. All the number one guys, all the top guys, everyone, one by one, all of them, you can't beat them. At this point, the only hope they got to try to dethrone him is to convince him he needs to go up to 126, when in actuality, he doesn't have to go anywhere. Finish your career right there, bro. You're going to retire a massive legend. Like, who defends 4 belts like that? Who gives one man an opportunity at your entire body of work on one night? People are not crazy to do that. Terrence Crawford said, hell no, I ain't giving nobody no opportunity to get everything it took me a lifetime to build on one night. That's just how when Terrence Crawford was like, "Can I just put up one belt?" Nope, all four. Nah, hell no, hell no. Why you get to win four belts on one night? I had to go out there and get them each individually. Meant that Jamel Charlo didn't give nobody no opportunity. Yo, that's he's out there like this, like come get it. The best you have to offer. Whoever wants to smoke. Naoya Inoue is like, I want the best guy you have. Who is the best? Who is next? Sam Goodman, bro. I heard last night he actually packed his bags and moved out of the country. He changes his name to Elmer Goodman, right? And he got a disguise, right? He's living off the grid. He's living off the grid. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, that man don't want no smoke, man. Sam Goodman does not want to fight. I'm trying to tell you guys. Akmadalia is the only person I think that he would take the fight because it would actually be an honor for him to share the ring with Naoya Inoue at this point. You would have to honor Naoya Inoue for the type of man that he made himself for that you can be part of his event. He's not part of your event. It's like you're a part of his event. You're bringing nothing to the table when you're fighting Naoya Inoue. You can't. You have no belts. And I don't think anybody's made themselves besides like a guy moving up, like a Junto Nagatoni and a Bam Bam Rodriguez. Like they made names for themselves down at the lower weight division. And I could see that happening where they could just walk in and yeah, I would accept that because of who they are and what they've proven in the sport. Like I said, boxing is individuals that are in different situations in their career. And sometimes we have a tendency of judging them as the same fighter when no. You see, a regular fighter that would have came up from 118 or something, you name anybody else that would have came up, I would have said, yo, he doesn't deserve this fight against Naoya in a way. What is he doing? There's no way I would accept that. Anybody else. But if his name changes to Bam Bam Rodriguez or his name changes to Junto Nakatani, right? Tell me if you guys got a problem with it now. No. Why? Because what they did, what those men have done, they brought us blood. They got world championships. They're undefeated. They bring a lot to the equation. See, so they're in different they're in different places than other guys in boxing. You see, so your value is higher. So I can see that in certain, but not in all situations. Not in all situations. No, not all situations are the same. Brian Norman Jr., Jerron Boots Ennis, that's a totally different situation. We could talk about that too. Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, that's a totally different situation. See, these fighters are not like our basketball teams or football teams where they're all equal. They're in the same league. They play the same amount of games. No, boxing we don't have the same amount of fights. We're not in the same place. So a lot of situations when they go on behind the scenes, they're being broke down by each individual situation. Then you're going to call this guy a duck and this guy a duck because of what you saw take place in this moment. So you're going to consider that to be a duck, right? When in fact, no. No, all situations are different. Let me read some of y'all messages here. You don't think? I think if anything, he can make 130. Tank. If anything, he can make 130. Naoya Inoue entered the ring at 138 against TJ Doheny. Entered the ring 138. So he can make the 130 if Tank can make the 130. Now, Tank stands to gain, I think, more weight, right? But they won't be far off. It won't be nothing so hard as such as what Mayweather did with Saul Canelo Alvarez, what Mayweather did with Miguel Cotto. What Mayweather, you see, Mayweather gave up a lot of weight against these guys. Mayweather, in fact, against that Gotti 3 dude, right? You saw it at the weigh-in. What did Mayweather weigh in at? 160, and the guy was shaking because I think he actually weighed more, but he gave Mayweather a few pounds. That other dude was 181. That's 21 pounds that we know of. That guy was a lot bigger than that. I'm 190. All right. So I was like, man, listen. So, but in competition between Tank Davis and Naoya Inoue, if Tank Davis was to make that 130, we got ourselves a fight. I think Naoya Inoue would end his career fighting that fight right there. I think he would walk away from the game putting everything on the line, and they would basically smack somebody in the 130, strip them of their belt, and deem one of them the champion or something, or they'll fight for like a vacated belt or something. You know what I mean? Because Naoya Inoue would probably want it to be for a belt, seeing that he's on this prestigious run. You just don't give up that run that he's on, that record. That's a legitimate record that's going to go down in the Hall of Fame. He has 22 consecutive world title fights, 23 now, right? So that's a real record. It's not like your Mayweather record that 50-0. No, that's a personal record. They didn't give Mayweather an award. Hey, Mayweather 50-0. Man, there's mad people that retired and whatever. That's a personal thing. But when we're talking about what you did in your boxing career, 23 consecutive world title fights in a row, you just don't throw that away to fight a belt, a fight or a catchweight fight for no belt and just throw away your record. So if he was to fight Tank Davis is not the 130-pound champion, but I believe the boxing gods would in fact strip a champion immediately, and all of a sudden, hey, we got a belt right here. You're interested in fight? Yo, because at the end of the day, we talked about this, that the belts are only as good as the champions that wear them. Whatever organization can get their belt around Naoya Inoue or Tank Davis, that means that he represents that organization. So whatever belt you're as good as your champion. And there isn't not one sanctioning body right now, I believe anyway, that would have any problem wanting their belt around the waist of Naoya Inoue or Tank Davis. Am I wrong? Come on, people. I'm hit that like button for me, please. Hit that like button. This show has been fire. You guys have been amazing. Let me check out Tank Davis started what? My thing is acting up here. Javante started at 126. I don't know if he can make that. He's not as young as he used to be. Tank Davis is going on 30 right now, right? Sometimes, there's athletes that can do it. Yeah. No, definitely. They're gonna start the setup. This is what they try to do. What's up, my brother? This is what they tried to do. Um uh Push him in that direction. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with these statements. I agree. I agree with it. James J. Dao. I actually think Naoya will get more power when he gets to 130. And that can be frightening considering how powerful he is now. He damn near paralyzed TJ Doheny yesterday or this morning. He damn near paralyzed him. Well, the report's not in yet. We're not sure. This man might not be able to be walking. And that's yo, listen, that was a hard shot he took. That was a hard shot. And you could see on his face he was wearing it. You could see from Naoya Inoue's career as he developed as a fighter that he's mastering his technique throughout every fight. What you can also take away from him is that you can see him getting better with each fight. He's learned how to really generate a lot of power in a short distance where that he doesn't have to reach back. He doesn't have to look like when Javante Tank Davis knocked out Frank the Ghost Martin, he was leaning into that uppercut so much that he almost trampled him because you could see where Javante Davis's momentum was carrying him. He was using the momentum, his weight, his technique, and his power, to execute that knockout, and it was beautiful. I don't. That's the way it's done, baby. You know what I'm saying? But Naoya Inoue, his was really special, man. When you come to think about it, and the way he did it, it was it there was no it didn't there was no wasted movement and in the violent nature, right? What really sold it for me, right? That I was like, wow, is when Luis Pantera Nari spit out his mouthpiece when he was on the ground. You got to see the full result, not him just his head whipping back and then the camera veers away. No, get a video where you watch him the whole time. He was completely out of it. He was like talking to himself, like he looked like he was drunk. He was like, "Oh, I dropped my mouthpiece. There it goes. Oh, wait a minute. He was out of it." And that goes to show how hard and the kind of power he can generate in a very small window. So when I see that, I notice he's getting better. He's getting more dangerous. Now you put him up to 130 pounds. Now you're talking about that power just might translate into, you know, more power. I was looking at him in the weigh-in, his cheeks look real sunk in, and I was wanting to talk about that. It's because I see that he's cutting more weight, so that when you start seeing that in the fighter, like when we were watching Devin Haney, he looked like a skeleton. He looked like he was on Main Street for like a year, right? He was look cutted up, right? And then you see him when he's not boxing, and you see how round his face is. You see the real version of him, and you start to say to yourself, how much longer can he do that? How much longer can he cut that much weight and stay in that weight division before he's gonna have to realize he has to move up? So, you know, absolutely. A lot of people think so. A lot of people think so. But you gotta understand that in boxing, right? It doesn't work the way you might think in your head, right? Oh, why did this person call this person? And no. There are a lot of secretaries and a lot of secondary guys in between a lot of this. For instance, Shakur Stevenson started talking allegedly with Devin Haney, and the rumors were that it never passed Jay Prince. It never got to Bob Arum in top rank, right? Okay. Meaning there's levels even to that. To even start to get the fight to talked about for being a possibility, then having these people, everybody doesn't want to leave $1 on the table. For every, no one in here is on your side. when they're telling you, can I get the venue for this much, that, this, that, and third? Then all of a sudden, when you did everything, they're like, man, we would have paid you $10 million more than what you're asking for. And you're like, they're like, man, this is cheap right here. So the next time you go into negotiation, you're like overpricing everything. You got to start learning how to do all these things, what to do, what to put in a contract. Then all of a sudden, they're sending you over a contract, but it's a counter offer. Now, the contract has been slightly changed by their lawyers. So now you're not just signing off on that shit, right? No, of course not. You got your team going through it with a fine-tooth comb. Now you're adding stuff, and this is everything that happens. These fights at this level are not as easy as putting a fight together in a YMCA or in some nightclub somewhere. One promotion handles that, passes out some flyers, you guys make weight, and you're good to go. At this level, you're talking about fighting in Las Vegas. You got hundreds of movie stars, actors, people flying in, making reservations. They got families. You're generating money for that city. That city's mayor starts talking to you. Now you're starting to get a cut. You got TV networks, people putting out promotional things. You got to get a venue in their city. They get a percentage of the venue and the tickets sold because you're fighting in their city. You got to work out all this legal shit, and you're not even halfway done because now you got to turn around and you got to start talking to the boxing athletic committee and what their rules and what they want for you to perform in their city. Then you got to get a visa for your guy because he's in Santo Domingo somewhere, right? Right? I mean, they could be a countless. Your guy could be Ukrainian, and now there's no flight zone right now, right? You never know all the headaches that it goes into putting one fight together, and you haven't even got an undercard. We haven't talked about the prelims, and we haven't talked about anything else. We were just talking about two guys. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of moving parts when you're just talking about one guy saying, why doesn't this guy just fight this guy? Because you know why? Because they're not the only two guys that are going to fight on the card. You got a lot of people you got to bring in. And who ordered the referees and where are they coming from? Who's hosting the event? Who approved it? What titles are we fighting for? There's just so much. So, it's easier said when you're sitting back saying this guy dug this guy because there's probably a lot of people that got pissed off with a lot of prices and a lot of people didn't want to agree. And if they didn't agree, then all of a sudden we're getting cheated out of a fight. That's the ugly business about boxing. Listen, fight fans, you guys been amazing. James, Daul, everybody in the chat. Listen, shout out to everybody. This has been an amazing show for me. Please don't forget to drop that like button. I'm going to throw you up one all the time. Lionheart, what's up, baby? How you doing? Hey, listen, fight fans, I will be on tomorrow, probably 8:30. Join me, turn on the notification. Please take the time out to like the videos, share the videos, comment on the videos. Let me know who you want to talk about. Let me know what you think. I want to know, what do you think should be Naoya Inoue's next move? Who should he fight? Where, what, and when? Let me know. We'll have something to talk about tomorrow. Right now, I have some engagements I have to get to right now, and I just wanted to chop it up with you guys. I'm sorry I didn't have a lot of time to answer everybody's questions, but I wanted to quickly get in and acknowledge the win for Naoya Inoue and show support to one of the best men that are doing it today in the sport we all love. Have a good night. Love each other, and I will see you on the next one. I'm out.